Hey plant fam, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jacqueline. This is part of my jungle. I don't know why I'm like this. I'm always like this and I still can't, I don't know why. I just like sit on my hands. Anyway, welcome back. If you're not new here, thank you for being here. I appreciate you for still being here because your girl's been a little chaotic lately. I mean, I'm kind of always a little bit chaotic, let's be real. But I'm very excited about today's video. And hopefully you're excited about today's video too, because you guys have been asking me nonstop, how many Monstera do I have in my collection now? Specifically, obviously, the Variegated Monstera. If you guys have been paying attention, I've been buying quite a few albos, ties, aureas. We even recently just bought a mint. And every single time I do, somebody asks me, so how many do you have now? And my answer is always the same, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. So today, I took all of my Monstera down from the loft. They're everywhere in front of me right now. And I am going to show you every single Monstera deliciosa slash Borsigiana slash whatever in my collection that I have. I'm going to call this my Variegated Monstera Collection because I'm only showing you the deliciosas. I'm not going to show you my Esqueleto. I've got an Obliqua. I've got a handful of other Monstera, but today is just about the deliciosas. I know some of them are not technically deliciosa, but for the purpose of this video, that is what we're going to refer to them as, to differentiate them from the other Monstera. So it's been a while since I showed you guys my sport variegated Monstera that I found at Lowe's a while back. We repotted it, we gave it a pull, and she's just been chilling in the loft, and she put out a couple of new leaves. I was going to separate out the two plant. Let me just show you. She's so big. Hold on. Okay. Here she is. So yeah, it's like you can't even see any of her variegation right now. That was her most recent leaf when I bought her, but she put out this one right after. So there's two plants in here, and like I was saying, I was gonna separate them because only one is variegated, but I really didn't feel like it because honestly I don't have a big green deliciosa anyway, so I figured I would just keep the big green one because the big green one is pretty too. So this is the other plant over here, and this is the variegated one. As you can see, this one didn't come out with a single bit of variegation on it, which is a little bit of a bummer, but we do have lots of good striping still going on in here. So like I'm pretty confident that maybe the next leaf will have a little splitchy splotch of variegation. That's actually the first leaf on the whole plant that doesn't have anything, which is just my luck. Even this little baby leaf that's dying over here, a little splitchy splotch. And the ones that don't seem like they did have them on the back. So like there's good genetics in this plant. If for some reason it keeps giving me green leaves, I will cut it back down to the base and hope that it'll push out a growth point where there's some variegation. So this is my Monstera deliciosa sport variegated and just like the regular green one. So this green one is putting out a new leaf as well, and I do just think it's a really pretty plant. I think this is going to make a really nice living room plant one day when we have a bigger space, and I'm not mad about it. The moss pole so far is moss poling. There's nothing really to grow into it. It hasn't really thrown out a lot of aerials. This is definitely a large form. You can tell because of how tight the nodes are. Like I don't even know where I would cut it if I were to cut it. So there's that. The nodes are very, very close together. So most likely a large form. That is the first one on the list today. And then I think we can move into the albos, which I think I have the most of. As I was pulling them out, I was like, I think I have the most albos. So I don't know if that one counts, but if that one counts, then that's one. Number one. Number two, is my original albo. Now this one, she's got some dreads. We gotta be careful. Don't wanna mess up her dreads. This one is my original albo. Look at that new leaf. Oh, aren't you pretty? So this one was actually a gift from my friend Karen over at Paul's and Sandy's. She gifted this to me when I moved here to Connecticut a year and a half ago, and it was just a little baby, and it's grown so much. It still has a ton of its original leaves down here, but it's given me so much new growth in my care. Like I said, this is the newest. This one gave me midrib fennies, which was the one just before the newest one. I feel like I need to like back up. So that is my original albo. I first started noticing it browning on this leaf, so I panicked and I bought silica, and I've been giving it silica ever since. And this is an older leaf, and you can see we had this one, and this one out since using the silica. I haven't had one single speck of browning on any of these leaves. So that is my original Monstera albo. I'm pretty sure this is a Borzigiana because of how much space there is between the nodes. She's got really nice genetics, and this one is sentimental, obviously, because it's my first, and it came from a friend. She's always telling me to cut it, and I'm like, no, I don't want to. She's like, I'm telling you, cut it, and it's gonna go crazy with growth. I'm like, what? I don't want to. I don't want to cut it at all. Look at that new leaf. She's gorgeous. I love when it does this minty thing. Anyway, that's albo number one. I guess I'm kind of going in like size order because albo number two is also gorgeous. And this is one that we recently picked up from Rooted Rarities in Massachusetts. This was a birthday albo that I got for myself. So one of my more recent albos. And I just liked the coloring on this one. I thought it was really pretty. This one actually originally comes from Matt and Kayla's stock over at the Plant Ward, but of course, instead of buying it directly from them, I bought it from somebody that they sold it to, and they laughed at me. So I will be probably buying one more albo, just one more from Matt and Kayla, because I want to get a nice high color from them directly. But this one has like just that mintiness is really what sold me on it. I love when it does that. Don't buy a plant for one leaf though, you guys, because like it's just not a thing that always, it's not going to continue. The genetics are unpredictable on these plants, but that's something that I love about them. This is the newest leaf out that was working on unfurling when I got it. So it's still in perlite. We definitely need to get this into a chunky mix and onto a proper moss pole, although this one is attached. Like the aerials here. This one's attached on the other side, so I might have to leave it on this coco coir pole. Why are they always sticky? It's very strange. Because it is already attached to it, but that's fine. Monstera albo number two. Okay, so next I want to show you guys my white tiger albos that I got from Bee Leaf Tropicals. Y'all have been asking me. The original two died. So you saw me unbox those, obviously. If not, I'll leave it linked up here for you guys. It was a sad unboxing. And then you watched me try and rehab them, which I can also leave up here for you guys if you want to check that out after this video. Yeah, so the original two, I moved them to moss perlite. You guys would have seen. We did that together. A few weeks later, they were just completely rotted and done. So in hindsight, I probably should have left them in water. They were doing okay in water. They had roots in water. But usually when I'm propagating and I'm rooting up plants, what I like to do is put them in water until they start to root. And then once I see roots forming, I move them to a moss perlite mix or whatever other medium you like to root your plants in. But for me, starting them in water just kind of gives them a little kickstart. It helps them grow faster usually, in my opinion. In my experience anyway, my water propagations usually root much faster than any others. So that is what I normally do. So my instinct was to put it in a moss perlite, and I think it was just too much. It was too much for the plants, and they couldn't handle it, so they rotted and they died, and I'm still sad about it. But if you remember, they replaced a few of them for me. They sent me at least replacement for one of the plants that didn't make it, so I bought 4. We have 3. Basically, we lost 1, which I guess could have been worse, but I do want to show you guys what those remaining 3 are looking like. So albo number 3, but white tiger number 1 is this guy here. This is probably the one that came in like the worst shape. This is how it came. It's still in this chunky mix. It's rooted really nicely, if you can see that. So I haven't repotted it yet. I definitely need to. I was just giving them some time to chill. This one looks like the next leaf is actually gonna be super white because it's got, it's nubby, it's working on it, it's pregnant here, and this whole section here is white. So fingers crossed that we get some nice high color, because my highest color one is one of the ones that rotted. So white tiger number 2 is this guy here, arguably even lower color, maybe? I'm not sure. Not a super high color albo, but she's got potential. She's got potential. She's got some good coloring on the back of this petiole here where the new leaf should come from. We've got a little pregnant bump here, so this is actually quite white right here. So maybe, just maybe, we do have some nice striping up in here. So I have high hopes for these plants. They're rooting up really nicely. That one's crazy. So that's albo, what, number 4, white tiger number 2, and then number 3 is this guy, and this is the only one that's put out a new leaf so far. This one does not have a ton of color, but it is still pretty. So that is albo number 5. I'm gonna lose count. I'm gonna mess up the numbers. I apologize. Albo number 5, white tiger number 3. So I'm not sure if I can tell the difference between these and the rest of my albo, but they're albos. So, you know, it is what it is. This one has like some pretty decent striping too. It looks like this leaf literally just missed the boat though on having some nice white in there. It's pretty green on the other side. So maybe the next one out. If not, we can always cut it back in the future and see what happens. Either way, she's still cute. So that is albo number 5. Okay, continuing to go in order sort of size. Albo number 6 is one that I recently picked up from Derek over at Plants with Dirt. And I snagged this one specifically because it is super duper high white. And you might say, Jackie, why? The white is just gonna melt, it's gonna turn brown. Because I take on that challenge, sir. I believe that I can find a way to keep my white albos white and not brown. So this one is a top cut from an import that was super white. So the original leaves are a little bit beat, but you guys saw those already. I unboxed it. I can link it up here if you want to see it again, or if you missed it. So the older leaves look a little bit beat, but look at this new one that it literally just unfurled. Look at that. Is that not freaking stunning? Newest leaf. Fresh leaf. Oh my goodness, look at you. She's got a little bit of brown right there, but I think that was just from the unfurling process. She hasn't had enough time to brown. I've been pumping her with all the silica, and I just am so obsessed with this plant. You can see it looks like it already wants to actually put out another leaf soon, but it has some pretty nice color. on the back of this petiole where the next leaf is going to come out. So I'm confident that this plant has just enough green to not go completely white on me one day. I think it's like literally just the right amount of green. If you look at the stems, you could see they're pretty white, but they're still very green and stripy in there. So this was an import. It looks like it did have like some scale or something on it at some point in time. So as some new leaves continue to come out of here, I'm probably gonna get rid of these old ones just for good measure. So that is albo number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Albo number 6 is the highest white albo that I have in my collection, hands down. But albo number 7, what was that? I don't know. Albo number 7 is a baby, but its newest leaf that's popping out looks like it's gonna be really white, and I'm really excited. So here's albo number 7. I'm just dropping shit everywhere. This one is from Cat Loves Plants over on Plant Story. A lot of these, most of these are from Plant Story, obviously, except for my original albo and my sport variegated one. Otherwise, every single one of these that I've shown you so far has come from somebody on Plant Story. So if you're not on the Plant Story app yet, what are you doing? Don't sleep on it. They've got Black Friday sales, all the deals going on right now. It is a good time to sign up if you've been thinking about it. I'll leave it linked down below for you guys. If you use my referral link, you get a discount on your first purchase. Plus there's like Black Friday discounts. There's so many discounts going on right now that I promise you, you're gonna find something for a good price. So Monstera albo number 7 comes from Cat Loves Plants, and this one was a propagation, and I think it was like 50 bucks for this little plant. So I snagged it. I thought it was really cute, had some good color, and then it gave me this, and I was like, really? Really? That's what you're gonna do to me after looking like this? Really? And then this new leaf started popping, and I was like, ooh, okay, never mind. Maybe you just wanted to give me a little bit of green just to keep yourself stable. There's definitely some green up in the tip here, but look at how white. A couple more days. I cannot wait for this to unfurl. I've been watching it for days now, and I'm very excited. So this might be one of those plants that gives me like a more green leaf every other leaf. So Monstera are just really fun. Every new leaf is like an adventure, and I think that's why I like them so much. And they're really easy growers. So Monstera albo number 7 coming in. Stay tuned, I'll show you. Maybe I'll put her in my November favorites once that leaf pops off so you could see her. So albo number 7, and then albo number 8 I think is actually the last one. I think it's the last one. Is just a cutting. So I have purchased multiple albo cuttings, but this is the only one that has survived for me. So albo number 8 is this mid cut that I picked up from Derek as well over at Plants with Dirt, and it's finally given me a growth point. I just worry because it decided to give me a growth point where it was like pretty green, but I don't really know. There's a little bit, it's really hard to see. There's like a little bit of white striping like here. Most of it's in here and like on the other side here. So hopefully we get at least a little bit of white. It looks very green though. Very, very green. So I don't know, pray for us, but we can always let it grow out. Chop it back again, see what happens. I like having a lot of them to play around with because like I said, my original, I do not want to cut. Some of my larger ones, I really don't want to cut. Some of my higher color ones, I do not want to cut. So I like having others that I can kind of play around with and experiment with. So that is 8 albos, 9 if you're including my sport variegated Monstera, since it does have more albo-y. A lot of people were like, are you sure it's not just like a low color albo? I'm like, I don't know. I genuinely don't think that they grow them, like the grower that those come from. I don't think they grow albo, so it has to be a genetic mutation, but that's actually not as much as I thought I had. Maybe I have more Tycons and I just don't realize it because they're smaller. So let's do the Tycons next. Okay, you guys, so Tycon number 1 is one of my older babes. This is one of my bigger ones, probably. I actually don't have too many large Tycons now that I'm like looking at everything. I'm like, do I need more Tycons? I'm not sure that I have enough, but realistically, a lot of them are just small. So this one I got from Ginger's greenhouse out in California. You guys have seen me, actually saw me unbox this. This was one of my first ones. I liked it because it was really, really speckly. And it caught my eye, it caught my attention when I purchased it. It did get a little bit brown up there. I did recently repot it. It's doing really well in here. Rooting up like crazy. So I think it's focusing on its roots right now because it hasn't given me another leaf. It is a little bit tall because I had it up in the greenhouse before we switched everything out and just created, you know, a little plant space instead of having a greenhouse up there. It was crowded and it was competing with plants around it for light, so it was growing pretty tall. But this one has some really nice striping on this petiole, so I'm pretty excited to see what the next leaf is gonna look like. It's definitely got like a little pregnancy bump, but it's really just, you know, giving it the time to push that out. So I did recently put it on a proper moss pole. It's dry right now. I need to like water everything. I just got a new product in the mail that I'm excited to try that I'm probably going to talk to you guys about in another video. So Tycon number 1 is this guy with the crazy roots. Tycon number 2 is a beaut. Like, look at her. Holy guacamole. This one I'm pretty sure I snagged from Beleaf Tropicals, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a steal of a deal. She's got some really nice fenestrated leaves, and then it just threw out this one for me. It got a little bit tattered as it was unfurling, but otherwise absolutely gorgeous leaf. Doesn't have a ton of color, but you know, you never know. I still love her. She definitely needs a repot. She's kind of just on this like sad little stick here. But I haven't had her for that long, so I haven't wanted to repot her because she doesn't have like a ton of roots. And she's in a strange, it's not a strange mix, it's just like there's a lot in there of like everything. There's perlite, there's cocoa, there's dirt, I think. I see charcoal, like there's a little bit of moss, like it's just like everything but the kitchen sink went in here. I love it. Tycon number 2. The rest of them from here are gonna be smaller, but I do love this one. This is a more recent one. I just kind of want to give her a little bit more of an opportunity to root up before I go crazy with her, but I do need to repot like a ton of these. This one included, get it up on a proper moss pole. So this one I actually propagated. This was the original prop leaf. I purchased this from Sharon over at Black Hat Gardener Shop, and this one did really, really well for me. And it's put out 2 little babies. So this was one of the Tycons before tissue culture was a thing. So this is a pre-tissue culture Tycon, and I don't know, I just felt like I wanted one that wasn't TC. Not that I think they're really any different or I would be able to tell the difference, but it's also probably why it's a little bit lower color. I feel like a lot of the TCs come out with like some really crazy stuff. So that's her original leaf, and she's got 2 new ones. This is Tycon number 3, and I don't know if I feel comfortable calling this number 4. This one's kind of on the struggle bus. Her newer leaf rotted, so it like rotted in the sheath, which I thought was odd, but this leaf is fine. And the node is fine, and it's rooted. It's actually got some pretty decent roots. I don't know if you could see any in there. But this one comes from the same plant, so I wanted to pot these up together So I'm not sure if you can really count these as 2 separate plants, but if it is, then it's Tycon number 3 and number 4, but if not, then it's just Tycon number 3. I don't know, you decide. This one has insane roots. It's definitely ready to have a little bit more space, so I think I'll just put it in a slightly larger pot. I do like to put my little crystals in there too. And now Tycon number 4 is my favorite, and you guys have seen me share it quite a bit recently because of its new leaf. It is absolutely stunning. I snagged this one at Shakespeare's Garden in Brook. What the heck is the name of the town? It's near Danbury in Connecticut, and it's my favorite Tycon because of this variegation. I just totally fell in love with this. I had to snag it, and then it gave me this. I brought it home, I loved it, I repotted it. I didn't have a pole for it, so it's just on this little bamboo stake. I do have some poles, I just ran out of stuff to put in the poles. So we are gonna be doing some repotting and some moss poling together soon, if you guys are into hanging out with me while I do that. But this half moon, is that not gorgeous? I am so freaking obsessed with this plant, and it's super stripy, so you never know, might keep giving me half moons. I was attracted to it because it has this stripe going down the middle of every leaf. Kind of reminded me of like a little Brazil. It's even on this leaf, you can't really tell, but it is even on the itty bitty little baby leaves. You have like that white stripe going down the middle. So absolutely obsessed with the genetics on this one. Definitely my favorite, and just like one of my favorite plants in my collection right now, period. So that's Tycon number 4-ish. So Tycon number 5 has a little bit of a sad story to it. So this one I snagged off of TikTok. I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to buy something from a TikTok shop, but I fell in love with the variegation on this plant, and it was a good price, so I snagged it. And I got it, and it was broken. And I was so sad and so disappointed. They refunded my money. They were very, very sweet about it, but I was determined to still get this plant to thrive. So this is my Tycon number 5? Number 5. And this is the leaf that actually snapped. I tried to like bandage it up. I know I didn't do a great job, but I think it's working because like the leaf hasn't died. It's been like that for a while, and I'm always peeking to see if I can find another leaf bump. So hopefully it puts out another leaf. It lost this one in shipping, which was gorgeous. I was so sad about that leaf coming off. It was absolutely stunning. So all we have is this little guy down here, and this guy who I'm not surprised is browning a little bit, just because it's probably not getting everything it needs if it's sort of snapped right there. So hopefully it puts out a new leaf for me soon so I can stop stressing about this one and know that the plant is just gonna like continue to grow from the top and not have to wait for it to push out a new growth point from somewhere lower. But Tycon number 5 is this little rescue babe that I wasn't anticipating actually being a rescue babe, so I was very sad about this. I didn't post it anywhere besides on TikTok, so if you don't follow me on TikTok, then you wouldn't have seen that. So Tycon number 5, and then number 6 is beautiful. I don't know who I bought it from. It may have been Bee Leaf Tropicals again. I genuinely don't actually remember. Cute little baby Tycon, nothing really extra special about it. It's super speckly, and I'm just growing it out. It's got some pretty nice roots going on in here. It's just in moss, so I will have to take it out soon, or else it's going to be an absolute nightmare to get it out. And then the next one is definitely from Texas Plant Connection, and I do really love this one. Ignore the yellow leaf. I haven't taken it off yet because the plant is actually still taking energy from this leaf. It has some green on it. This is the newest leaf. It hasn't given me any new ones, but I do think it has some really great potential, some really nice genetics, and it's a really hardy Tycon. I've had this one for a little bit, so it's still in moss. Gonna need to repot her as well, but hopefully we'll get some more half moons. We do have some really nice striping on this petiole and on the stems and everything down in here. So I have a lot of confidence in the genetics of this one. So that is Tycon number 6. Tycon number, no, 7. Number 7. Okay, number 8 is this itty bitty little baby that I picked up from Beleaf Tropicals. It was a tissue culture. It was growing pretty tall because it was competing with the plants next to it. And now that it's in my care and it's not competing, we have this little short guy down here, but he came out so cute. Look at him. Little teeny tiny little Tycon leaf. So stinking cute. So that is Tycon number 8. Tycon number 8. Oh no. We're neck and neck with albos now, you guys. I guess I have a pretty even amount of both because I do have this other Tycon cutting here. This one is also from Black Cat Gardener Shop. I'm probably gonna lose this leaf soon. I've had it rooting in water for a while, but it feels kind of mushy, so I might move it to moss perlite and see if it'll root up faster for me in there. I didn't have a problem rooting my other ones in water, but this one's getting a little mushy. Maybe it's been a little too cold where I have it is a possibility, but just a little baby cutting. I hope I'm not forgetting any, to be completely honest with you. I was like, I got them all, right? So we have the same amount of albos and Tycons, right? We had 9 and 9, so that's 18 so far. And we haven't even gotten to the aureas yet. But so far that's 18 variegated monstera total. So let's snag the aureas. I only have a few of those, so we already know that one's not gonna be as extensive. And my one little baby mint. So let me go and grab those. Okay, you guys, so aurea number 1 is this guy here. I'll show you each leaf. This is the oldest. Then it gave this pretty much all green one, and then this is the newest one that actually no, did not unfurl in my care. So this was actually an import from like way earlier this year. I'm pretty sure I imported this. Its newest leaf rotted in the sheath, so we do not have any more top growth. So your girl has just been waiting impatiently for growth to come from somewhere else. So anyway, this was a import that I rooted all by myself. I was very proud of myself. I rooted her, like I said, I do with the rest. I put her in water for a while until I saw some roots growing, and then I moved her to a clear container like this with moss perlite so that I can watch her roots. And when I felt like she had enough roots, I potted her up into my chunky soil mix, and you can see she's definitely been filling out. She's definitely got some really nice roots in there, and I've just been impatiently waiting for some new growth. I think it definitely has some decent genetics, so I don't know, I'm pretty confident. I think I'm always gonna have a place in my heart for this one too, just because it was my first one and I was so excited about it. So the yellow on this one is kind of faded over time, but don't worry, I bought more. So aurea number 2, the second biggest, is this guy here, and look at how yellow he is. I think that one's just like faded because it's like an import. Like I actually genuinely don't know, because this one was probably imported at some point in time too, and it looks like it's actually doing the same thing where it's like the new leaf is rotting inside the sheath. I'm not exactly sure why. I actually just noticed that now. I didn't even know that there was a new leaf coming out. I'm not sure why this keeps happening to some of my monstera. Well, it looks like poo, but maybe it's just the tip and the rest will still come out okay. I don't know. If you guys know, definitely help a sister out. But if I can get the rest of this leaf out, maybe. And just cut that tip off. Hit it with some peroxide. Maybe it'll give me something to work with, at least so that I don't have to like wait for all new growth again. It looks like the base of it is healthy and it just got rotted up in here. So I don't really know, but that is my Monstera aurea number 2. Got Hoya sirens. I ain't got any Hoya for you today, sir. All I got is Monstera, variegated Monstera. So I'm confident that this one's gonna be okay. I'm confident that it has some pretty good genetics. These older leaves are sad. It lost a leaf from in here. But yeah, that's it. That's Monstera aurea number 2. So then Monstera aurea number 3 is just a baby cutting. So, but this one has really nice color on it as well. And I snagged this one, I think, from Sharon at Black Cat Gardener Shop, if I'm not mistaken. It is rooted. It's giving me some nice roots down there at the bottom. So, you know, it's only a matter of time before hopefully we get a little growth nubby. So hopefully we'll have some really nice variegation from this guy. So that is aurea number 3, just a little baby cutting, but even smaller than that cutting. That's a mid-cut. This, I'm pretty sure, was like a baby that somebody separated off of like the base of their mother plant, because it's literally a baby. And I'm pretty sure it's not a tissue culture. The person I bought it from did not say it was a tissue culture. They called it a propagation. So I have no idea what's gonna happen. This was cheap and I was curious to see what would come of it. So it's finally putting out a new leaf since I got it. A lot of these older ones just look pretty green, but I feel like that's kind of common for when they're small and they develop more of their variegation as they get bigger. So it is just in this little soil mix. It is starting to root, and I'm honestly just gonna leave it in here until it's filled up with roots, until I can see all of the spaghetti, all the noodles filling up the bottom. So aurea number 4, and that is the final aurea that I have in my collection. Hi, so I'm putting all the plants back after just filming this for you guys, and I knew I was forgetting one. I literally forgot one of my big Monstera aureas, so I have 5 Monstera aurea, not 4, and I'm going to show you it really quickly, and then we're going to get back into the rest of the video. Okay, so here is aurea number 5, arguably the nicest one. I snagged this one also from Bee Leaf Tropicals. This is the newest leaf out. It's got a little pregnancy bump as well. The older leaves are a little bit beat, but she's got a history of half moons, and I am very confident in the genetics on this one. So obviously I had to show it to you. I'm so mad that I forgot it, but you know, I'm only human. So what is that now? We've got 23 plants so far. So now I'm just going to show you the last one. But I had to put this one in here because I'm a little bit disappointed with myself that I forgot her. Just literally just chills right here on the floor too. It's like not like a small plant. The last one on my list, a little lonely boy because he's the only one, is my Monstera Mint, but I just want to take this opportunity to show you the new leaf that just unfurled. Ah, look at her. Look at how pretty you are. So like I told you guys, again, this seedling was competing with the seedlings next to it, so these leaves got pretty tall. This one came in much shorter because we're giving her more light and she's not competing. So she's still in moss, which stresses me out all the time, I'm not gonna lie, but I also am not fucking touching this thing until I see roots like popping off, coming out the bottom, going crazy. So Monstera Mint, snagged this one from Bee Leaf Tropicals If you missed that unboxing, I'll leave it linked up here for you guys. I always forget what side it's on. But yeah, that's it, you guys. That's my entire Monstera collection. I'm looking around, like, making sure I didn't forget any, but I'm pretty sure that is my entire Monstera collection. So we have 23 in total. We have 8 albos, 9 if you're counting the sport, and we have 9 Tycons, and then we have 4 aureas and 1 mint. I would have had more Tycons, but a couple of them rotted. They were small little tissue culture babies, and I would have had a few more albos too, but I lost like 2 or 3 cuttings as well. I had an aurea cutting that I also lost, so there would have been more, but this is what we're working with right now. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I feel like I need to hold one. This is probably like the one I've been most obsessed with. Look at it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I have had a blast filming it and going through each one and showing you their new growth and reminiscing on where I got them and where they started. I love it. We took all these down. David helped me bring all of them down from the loft and put them on the table, and he was like, did you ever think you would have a table full of Monstera like this? And I was like, no, I did not, sir. I get more excited about my Monstera than anything these days, and I'm like, who am I? I'm still a Hoya lady, okay? I love my Hoya, but I've been on quite the Monstera kick. And so hear me out. I know I said that there weren't going to be any more, or at least not a ton of unboxings, because your girl needs to, you know, budget. I gotta get Christmas presents. We can't be just like going crazy on plants all the time. But then Plant Story reached out to me and they decided that they wanted to throw some money my way to do a couple more unboxings. So I bought plants, but in my defense, I bought plants with somebody else's money. And I chose some of my favorite sellers to give that money to. So I'm really excited to show you guys what I got, because they're plants that honestly I wouldn't have bought for myself. And when I got this money, I was like, I am going to get plants that I would not normally buy for myself, that feel out of, like, not necessarily out of my price range, but just like out of reach for my purposes. Like, I like to buy plants that I know I'm gonna like propagate and like have as like mother plants one day. These ones are kind of like just because I wanted them. These are just like wish list plants that I'm really, really excited to show you guys. So I'm not going to be getting them until after the holiday. So stay tuned. Definitely go and check out the Plant Story app, you guys. Like I said, I'll leave it linked down below for you guys. They're not paying me to say this. They just like my videos, so they want me to keep making more because it helps, you know, promote them, obviously. And I'm addicted to Plant Story. Raise your hand if you're addicted to Plant Story. Leave me an emoji, the hand raised emoji down below if you're addicted to Plant Story. You definitely do not want to miss some of these Black Friday sales that are going to be going on. Most people are holding off until after Thanksgiving to ship, so watch out after Thanksgiving. We're going to have some epic unboxings, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see some of these plants in person. Let me know in the comments below what you think I bought with my Plant Story money. Let me know. I'm just curious. I'm curious what you guys think I would have snagged. It's not Monstera. I would not let myself spend that money on plants that I already have. So I do not have them. And I got 4 wish list plants. So you have 4 opportunities to get it right. And if you know what it is, because we're friends and I told you, don't ruin it for everybody else. Don't ruin the surprise. But yeah, that is it for this video, you guys. I'm like way too hyped about all my plants right now. I need to calm down. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you watched the whole entire thing, leave me a comment down below. Let me know how many Monstera you have in your collection. I should have asked you to guess at the beginning of this video how many you thought I had. That would have been fun, but now we know that I have 23. So next time somebody asks me how many I have, I will have an answer, but I'll probably be buying more at some point in time, so there's also that. Anyway, I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me today. If you did, you should definitely give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything from me. Share this video with your friends that are also crazy for Monstera so they can come and hang out with us if they don't already watch my videos. And there's a join button down there if you want to be part of the official plant fam. Get yourself some perky perks, some extra content, although I haven't filmed a members only video in a couple weeks. I was on vacation. Life got a little bit crazy, but I will definitely get back into the swing of things hopefully next week after Thanksgiving, after all the family stuff. And then it's time for Plantmas. Anyway, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Are you guys ready for Plantmas this year? I don't think we're ready. I'm not ready. I'm already planning, because last year I got overwhelmed. This year we're gonna plan ahead and we're gonna not get overwhelmed. Anyway, I'm rambling. I love you guys so very much. I'll have my shop linked down below for you guys. Again, I have all my plants and my pottery on sale. Hopefully I'll be restocking soon after Thanksgiving. I will be doing a live sale on Instagram after Thanksgiving as well for like Black Friday weekend, so stay tuned for that. I don't know exactly when yet, but it won't be my plants, it's gonna be somebody else's plants, and they've got the good stuff. So you're not gonna wanna miss it. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. And I love you guys so very much. I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are out there in the world. Don't forget to spread kindness. Don't forget to drink your water, and I will see you in the next one.